Hey everybody. Oh, sorry, let's start that again. Oh yo boyos. That's much better. We're fucking talking about the Hulk. The Incredible Hulk, that is, with I forget that actor's name. The bad one.
Norton.
Edward Norton, that's his name. Thank you, Jake. This is a spoiler cast for the Incredible Hulk. We are keeping in tradition. Loki just ended. We gotta fill a week with something, right? What If is coming out. We still don't know if we're gonna cover that on the cast. But until we decide, we will watch in chronological order the MCU movies. And we watched Iron Man 1 like before Loki came out. Then we did Loki. And now, since Loki's ended, we watched The Incredible Hulk. We did it together on my couch.
This is the first time. This is the first time we watched one together.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I was kind of trying to withhold some of what I wanted to say to you because I didn't want to like blow my load last night.
You should have blowed your load.
Blowed
your load? Blew your load?
Honestly, having some time to sleep on it, it's a very, very forgettable movie.
Yeah.
It's very forgettable.
You know what? It's not, I don't want to say it's not bad, because it kind of is bad, but also it doesn't hurt. Like, it's such a like, just unassuming movie. Like,
yeah,
it's fine that it's there. You know, it's not hurting anything. It's just there.
It definitely feels like a movie that was made before they knew what they had, right? Like,
absolutely.
It felt like they were making a one-off, but they were leaving some like things in there
just in case. A lot of things that still haven't even been explored. Yeah.
For example, there's that one doctor guy who like does the experiments on the Hulk and then creates the Abomination. You get it, like his big head. Apparently he's some sort of Marvel villain.
He's another Hulk sort of creature.
They were teasing him out like he was supposed to show up, but he's never shown up.
He just has this wound that's like pulsing, and
yeah,
and that's also, like, oh, did he die? I have no.
Like, also, the Hulk doesn't kill Abomination, and that's never really explored either. But apparently, that is going to be explored in Shang-Chi, which is cool. But like, it's been what, 13 years? So
yeah, we see the Abomination in the trailer, which is crazy because I didn't notice until you pointed something out. I'm like, oh shit, that is the Abomination.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. Yeah, so the movie's fine. It's a fine movie. The shots kind of suck. The way the pacing is kind of sucks. The characters kind of suck. The CG is surprisingly fucking great
for the time. There's some questionable shit, right? Like specifically that scene, like where they're outside, like in the university,
in the daylight. Yeah, in the daylight. Yeah, that scene is
probably
weird.
The worst one. But besides that, I thought it was okay for the time.
The dark scenes, like when they first introduce him, fantastic. That was like the best way to cover up bad CG, is just have him in the dark, and it actually is kind of terrifying. It's like really like, wow, this is kind of cool. Like that opening, not the opening scene, but that first fight is actually really cool.
Well, and I was trying to watch it with the mindset of like, okay, I've never seen any of the other Marvel movies, right? Like, this is it, right? And you know,
and
like,
also you're transporting to 2009. Is that when that's 2008? Yeah,
and like I'm trying to pretend that I haven't seen the Hulk in like 5 other movies, right? And this is the first time we're seeing him, and that was like a really cool way to unveil him, and like. He's a fucking buff dude. Like, this man is jacked to the gills. Like, you could see his, like, fucking, like, rippling.
Like, tendons. Yeah, like, he's got rippling muscles. Like, it's just, like, his pecs are just so detailed. And, like, you can see the strands of muscle in... It's really good CG up close on the close-up shots.
I thought, especially in the rain, when they were outside in the rain... Like I thought that looked pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I've never seen the movie. I may have seen a scene or two because like that university shot kind of seems familiar where they like launch the smoke in there and he turns into the Hulk. That seems familiar. But I don't think I've seen this movie like all the way through. At least I forgot about it if I have. And I forgot where I was going with that. But it's fine. It's a fine movie. I liked it. It did a good job introducing the character. Liv Tyler's the love interest, and she ruins the movie.
Yeah, she's god awful.
She made like if that movie like any better, like an A plus, like if it was a perfect movie, except for Liv Tyler, the way that she delivers her lines turns that movie into a B. Like it is horrendous. I cannot believe that they didn't just recast her because she is awful. Like did the producer like have like some sort of debt with Steven Tyler, and Steven Tyler's like, hey, you gotta put my daughter in the
I just
she
think
can't act, but okay.
I think like Liv Tyler was like a hot commodity back in 2008, right? Like because she had been in some like music videos and people liked her. But I think after this movie, she hasn't done much, and I think it's apparent why.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I said, I never saw the movie. I didn't know what to expect, and I was like, okay, well, there's too many montages. It was like my first thought, like a whole bunch of time where nobody says anything. We get shots, kind of them trying to infer like certain things, and nobody says anything. We get montages of training and like what happens in the beginning. But that was like the first thing. But then throughout the rest of the like, wow, character movie, because she's just such a horrendous actress in this movie. I'm not going to say she's a horrendous actress in general, but this is not her part. She did not try. It didn't seem.
So for me, I thought it was a weird movie because like I feel like it's a very slow paced movie, which is fine. It's the Hulk. Yeah. He travels. Yeah. He's on the run or whatever. But then as soon as they get to New York to meet up with that doctor, things just go into fucking hyper gear. Like things just start moving really fucking fast. So like the Hulk gets an antidote, and then like Tim Roth, who I can't remember his character's name, like he turns into the Abomination out of nowhere, and then like the Hulk is not immune anymore.
Yeah, he loses his vaccine.
And then they both fight, and like the Hulk wins, and this all happens in like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and
15
but like
probably.
The rest of the movie is pretty like slow paced. Like he's just sort of hiding out. He's running away from these dudes. He meets up with Liv Tyler. Yeah, and then it just hits this point where it's just like, boom, we got to finish this movie now.
Everything happens. Another one of the things that I will say is I liked kind of...
You cut out there. What'd you say?
I liked how slow it was kind of at the beginning. And it was like, oh, this is kind of like a little bit darker and a little bit more kind of serious. And I kind of dug that.
This is like before the MCU was like funny.
Yeah, and it was like, wow, this is different. And it's a good way to introduce the Hulk. And if they kept with that through the whole movie, like they didn't like one of the biggest questions is like, who is like the guy that turns into the Abomination? Like, what is his fucking motive?
Like, I think he just wanted to be powerful. I mean, like, whatever. That's a good enough motive for me.
Is it? Like, he doesn't though. Like, he doesn't until he learns about the Hulk, and then he's like, I want to beat that guy in a fight. And I think that's his whole motivation is I want to beat that guy in a fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not good enough. That's terrible.
They really didn't spend enough time with him, which they could have, because I thought he was one of the better characters in the movie. Because, like, they use the super soldier serum on him, and he turns into a super soldier. And actually, I thought him as a super soldier. They actually introduced some things that like Captain America does in later movies, like the fast run and then like him just sort of hopping off shit. I don't even think they nail that sort of aesthetic again until Civil War with Captain America. Because like, I don't know. I haven't seen these movies in a while, but like in Avengers, I up until Civil War, I thought we were all kind of like, what is Steve Rogers' superpower? He just has like a shield. Yeah, he doesn't seem that strong.
He just throws his shield around.
But then Civil War kicks in and you see him running on a highway and you're like, okay, now he's superpowered. But like,
he's
this
fast
movie,
and he's strong. Yeah.
This movie does a really good job of being like, nah, this man's really fucking strong. He can do like hops and shit. He can sort of withstand the Hulk.
He literally gets thrown into a tree and breaks pretty much all of his bones in his body, and then he comes back like a week later and he's like, I'm ready to fight.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, Jesus, okay, super kind of crazy.
Yeah. And but like, yeah, I kind of forget that there's that end credits scene with Tony Stark, and he walks in, he's like, hey man, this is why we don't do super soldier serum. And but I don't know, that's a little confusing to me too, especially when you get later in the MCU, especially with like Falcon Winter Soldier, and it's like I guess like everyone can just be a super soldier. They really don't explore that enough, huh?
Well, anybody can be a super soldier. It's who they are after they get the super, like what they do with the power. And I think that's really explored. It's not crazy explored in this movie, in the Hulk, in the Incredible Hulk.
I'm just saying, like, it should be harder to obtain than they're making it seem in this movie.
Well,
they're just like, we did it. We figured it out. It's good. And it works perfectly.
I mean, no. Well, I mean, no, because Abomination isn't.
But that was after he like injected him with more shit.
Right. But like the first, like even with Ross's like serum, like, because it's not the gamma serum, right, or it might be the gamma serum that the Hulk has. But even with that like lesser version of the serum that he injects into Abomination, he still has like a fucked up spine, like bones are coming out of his skin and stuff like that, even with that injection. And you're like, oh,
notice that.
Yeah, he gets on the helicopter, and the guy's like, how you feeling? He's like, I feel like an animal or something, like a monster. And like he's like the scene right before he's putting on his spine sticking out of his skin. And it's like, fuck. So like obviously something's wrong there, and that could be part of like why he goes crazy. But then also the guy who, Mr. Blue, has like Bruce Banner's blood, so like he has the good serum in blood form. So it kind of makes sense as to why they have it.
I also like didn't realize that like the Hulk's blood is just like super potent, I guess. Like, I guess I didn't realize that was a thing, because like there's a scene where a blood gets into some like green Gatorade or whatever, and Stanley drinks it and just fucking dies.
And dies. Yeah, Stanley fucking dies after he drinks the... Well, I imagine it has something to do with like the gamma ray, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
It's just something in this blood is just so strong to kill a normal person. Whereas if you have super soldier serum, or, you know, a diluted form of Hulk's blood, then it's not as bad and you can survive it and turn into a Hulk. I didn't think this movie was very bad. Like I
didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was that good either. It's very forgettable.
No, I probably will never go back to it unless we do something like this again. But
in like 10 years.
It was fun, but it was very, well, I don't want to say skippable, but a lot of it was skippable.
I think of the MCU movies, this is the most skippable one, because even like the through lines that they introduce into this movie aren't even explored again, as I mentioned before. In Shang-Chi. Right, which is 13 years later.
Yeah.
So like it almost seems more like a retcon than anything. And like, you know, they kind of explore the fact that like Bruce Banner like looks up and he's like, haha, I can control this shit now. And then they do that in Avengers where he's like, I'm always angry. He feels like a completely different character in this movie versus any of the other movies. I don't know. And also, I appreciate that they start the movie where he's already on the run, but I would have liked to kind of know what happened. They never really explore like what happened. And yeah, we've gotten the
little intro stuff,
like the origins before, but he's, you know, the Hulk isn't Spider-Man. Like, we don't know his origin like Spider-Man's. And also, I feel like there's a lot of room that you could change his origin more than Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is pretty set in stone on his origin.
Well, it depends on what Spider-Man, but yes, Peter Parker.
Yeah, same with like Batman, you know, like it's like his parents were killed in an alley. But that's not the case with
the Hulk.
With the Hulk. The Hulk is always like he takes a serum that he created and it was bad. But then like what happens after there? I kind of wanted to know.
Yeah.
Like, why was he on the run? I understand because he's the Hulk, but like they did that. So like, why is he on the run? I don't know. They never really explore it.
The way what was kind of inferred was like the whole reason for the bad guy, for the General Ross, is
who's like
because he wants
not.
Yeah, he wants to make him into a weapon, or wants to like replicate what the Hulk is into making them like super soldiers. You know, he wants to make a new sort of super soldiers, and Bruce Banner's like, I'm not down with that. This is shit. This is so shitty, and I don't want to do that to anybody else.
I would have liked a little like flashback scene in this movie, though.
I mean, we got the entry, like the scroll. I'll say the beginning credits, I guess, where they have like credits, the pictures and it's a nice little
homage to the original show too, where he's like walking down the side of the road. You know, that's how the original show was, the one with Lou Ferrigno. It always ended with him walking down the road and like hitchhiking. Yeah. Yeah. Also, Lou Ferrigno's in the movie and he bribes him with a pizza.
Yeah, that dude's fucking jacked. Lou Ferrigno.
At least he was 13 years ago.
Yeah, he was hulking. Like, I understand why he was the Hulk. He doesn't fit into shirts.
Like, I mean, he was also famous bodybuilder. Thanks for the follow, dude, brah. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, he was Mr. Olympia, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know, I still think you should watch this movie. It definitely. If you've seen all of the,
you're cutting out. Try again.
If you've seen all of the Marvel stuff, am I still cutting out?
No, you're good.
Then you should go back to this just for like the superheroes, the super soldier serum kind of backstory, because they do such a good job with this, with the Abomination, and like that. As bad as that scene in the open grass area is, you really get to see like what it is that the super soldier serum does. Like that. And it's like, oh, okay, so that's what this does. Like, he's a normal dude. He looks like a normal. He has all of this stuff.
And there's some fun like references, like the giant like beams, the like sound beams on the side of them. They say it's Stark Industries, which is cool. You know, so there's some neat stuff like that. Yeah, but this did feel more like an origin story for Abomination than it did for Hulk, which is a damn shame, because we never see him again in any of the other movies. I know we're seeing him in Shang-Chi.
At least so far, yeah.
But it's been 13 years. You know, at this point, whatever they do with anything that happened in this movie is all retcons at this point. So, you know, it wasn't planned. You know,
I agree.
Yeah.
And then one of the most confusing things is like they didn't kill him. And I feel like that is the only way you can get rid of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how do you...
The Hulk knocked him out. But he's also like a superhuman monster giant, so he'd probably wake up in like 2 seconds.
Well, he'd wake up, but then also like you have the Hulk run away. Like that does not seem smart to me.
They can't
The
stop
helicopter
the Hulk,
comes. Well, the helicopter comes and the Hulk's like, "Oh, I gotta get out of here," and he's like, "All right, bye. Just leave this guy here to kill more people."
right?
You know, like I don't know. I don't know about that. I would not trust that. I'd be like, "Hey, can you get on the helicopter and we'll go to
But you can't
Alaska."
you can't really control the Hulk. You can't really tell him what to do. He won't listen to you. So
Well, no.
And we lost Nick. Oh God, we lost Nick.
Holy shit! What the hell?
Nick was kicked. He's back though.
How did that even happen?
I don't know.
Weird. Okay. All right. Well, fucking bizarre. Fucking Discord's freaking out. Let me turn on my camera. There we go.
Anyway,
Weird.
I don't think like, yeah, you can't control the Hulk. I don't know. I think it's pretty safe to assume they had a bunch of tranks there and they just fucking tranked the dude out and then tied him up with the chain and then brought him to some fucking cave somewhere. But they also had
the vault, apparently.
Yeah, the vault or the chamber or whatever the fuck. Yeah, the raft, wherever they took him. And they also had the cure right there, so maybe they injected him with that. And he cured for a minute and then
But I don't think anybody knew about the cure except for
well, maybe they went into that room and the guy's puffing like it puffed out but then went back in.
What happened with that guy though? Like
Well, maybe they went in there, his puffing has gone down and they're like, "Hey, what the fuck's all this Hulk shit?" And he's like, "Oh, I've got a cure right here." I don't know.
And then they make more Hulks because they have all the blood of the Hulk. This is
There's so many moments in this movie though where it's like he goes from like the Philippines to Guam or whatever. Guatemala, which is fine. He did that as the Hulk and it's like, okay, that's fine. But then he gets back to America somehow. How? They don't explain. He just does.
Well, one of the best things in this movie is the fact that the passage of time is so clearly put out there for you. Right. Like the first passage of time is like days since incident, and it's like half a year. And I'm assuming that's like when he becomes the Hulk. So he runs away in 6 months to the Philippines.
Yeah, my problem is
he runs away to Brazil. He goes to
Brazil,
and
then he goes to Guatemala,
and then then it's like days since incident, and it's like 1. So it took him a day to travel as the Hulk to
which shows
Guatemala.
That he has no fucking control.
Right, and then he's like, "Hey, I need a ride into town," and he gets like his clothes and whatnot, and then they say like explicitly on the bottom, it's like it's been a week and a half. And he's in New York now. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. You could probably...
how? He's a fugitive on the run. Yeah. How the fuck did he get back into America?
It's a good point.
Did he sneak onto a boat? I would have liked to... This is some details that I would have liked to see. I would have liked to know how the fuck he did that.
He is a fugitive. He's an American fugitive. Like, yeah. On the wanted list, probably. Like they don't explicitly say that, but he's probably on a list somewhere.
Well, he wears like a hat and a fucking like jacket and shit. Like he's hiding himself. He sees a security guard. He's like, I don't want to be seen because people probably know who I am.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. So that's a good question. I didn't even think about it. I like that question. Like, how the fuck did he get back into the States?
There's so many moments like that where it's like how, or like that one scene where he fucking shoots the rocket at the Hulk and Liv Tyler like gets hit or whatever in the grassy area on the university.
It's the helicopter. The helicopter crashes.
Yeah. And then they sort of like look at each other and then it cuts. It cuts and he's gone. And it's like he left?
He's holding like her lifeless body in his arms as the Hulk, and he looks at the dad, General Ross, and then General Ross is looking at him, and then it cuts to black and we see them like packing up her stuff from her house, and you're like, did she die? Is she dead? And then the next scene, she's still like limp in his arms and he's still the Hulk, and you're like, what? How did we get here? Like they just like sent an airstrike to kill this thing, and then they're just let him go. Like That does not sound like the American government.
I gotta say, man, these like early Marvel movies. Like I really like Iron Man, but I'm thinking back to like Iron Man 2. I'm thinking about Thor. I'm even thinking about the Avengers. Like some of these ones are, man, they're kind of rough, man. Like I
kind of like that though.
I'm excited to rewatch them just because it's like, man, how far we've come.
Yeah, but and it's only like this is only the first phase, right? Or phase
one ends with the Avengers. Yeah.
Right. So this is phase 1. And then we look from like the phases in phase 1 to phase 4. And it's like, wow, we've changed a lot in the 10 years that we've been doing this. Like that's kind of impressive.
13 years. Yeah, it is, but it isn't. Cause it's like, it has been like over a decade. Some of us, it's like a decade and a half. So I'd hope they develop a little bit. I'm excited to watch Iron Man 2 though. It's been a while and that's the next one.
I don't think I've seen this one all the way through either. Or if I have, I've forgotten completely about it. I know it's got like Whiplash Man and Whiplash. It's got the other guy. The guy. Oh, no, that's the third one. The third one's from all the suits.
Yeah. Well, no, this one has the suits.
But like all the suits are like attacking him at the end.
I can't remember.
Okay. All right, great. So I'm excited because I don't remember. So
this one does have Justin Hammer, who is fucking phenomenal. I forget the actor's name, but he's fucking phenomenal in this movie, and we never see him again in any of the other movies. But he's fucking great in the next one. Not getting ahead of myself, but that's the next movie. We'll watch that next. Yeah,
hopefully next week.
Yes,
next Wednesday. Well, that's when it'll air next Wednesday.
But we'll do it live. Yeah. We'll do it live.
I don't know if we do this, but I'd like to start. What would you rate the movie 1 to 10? Just without looking at any other movies, just this movie as like a movie that you would go. You went to the theater.
I give it a 6.
You watched it. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Give it a 6. Okay, since we're watching them in order.
Yeah,
we won't include the new ones because we are going to watch the new ones and like, and that will be a little bit out of order, but whatever. Where would you rank this on the list? So Iron Man and
the Hulk.
It's number 2.
It's number 2.
I'm just setting the precedent.
We should start a new document if we're doing that shit.
Okay, we got to start the document
one right now.
Well, because we have to include WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, and Black Widow.
Okay, that's
include those onto the list. So
that's very true. I'll start a document right now. I don't remember how to do that.
If you can share it to the screen.
Documents.
We should do that. Yeah, we should definitely do this every week.
For me, the first one is Loki.
I'm happy with that.
Okay.
I would say
this next one's going to be hard because it's 2 choices, right? It's between 2 things, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to put Iron Man right there.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too. Iron Man.
And then WandaVision.
And then WandaVision. And then
I'd say Falcon Winter Soldier and then Hulk.
So we're on the same page as of right now.
Yeah. I personally think I like WandaVision more than Loki, but I am happy to stick with this list.
Really?
Yeah.
But so Iron Man would be your top.
I would just flip-flop Loki and WandaVision.
Huh.
I would actually just move. For me personally, it would be Iron Man, WandaVision, Loki, but like I'm happy with this.
All right. Well, we'll have to like do one side and on the other side. I'll have to figure that out off stream.
You know what? I take it back. Yeah, this is what I'd rank them.
Yeah?
Yep. I'm perfectly happy with it.
You're fucking lying.
This is the Lonercast list. I think it's fine.
Okay.
I think it works.
Then yeah, that's so far of what we've seen. This is what I think, and Jake sort of agrees with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we'll have to add Iron Man 2 in here.
Wait, Black Widow. I would put that above Falcon Winter Soldier personally.
Like I don't know, man. That movie is.
I'd put it above Falcon Winter Soldier.
I mean,
you gotta think we're gonna add
I'll,
so many things like.
I'll compromise.
Because I mean, eventually these things are gonna be moving down, as we watch more things.
Yeah,
potentially,
for sure.
Especially as we get like later, like into Phase 3. Like a lot of the Phase 3 movies, in my opinion, are going to be high up on the list.
Yeah. Like Spider-Man is like number 1 for me. Like,
well, Endgame's,
yeah. So yeah,
Civil
shit's
War,
gonna move.
Like, yeah.
I don't know how many fucking movies there are. Like, I don't know the number.
I think there's 20. Well, including the shows, I think there's like 24.
I feel like there's more, but yeah, there's a lot. So shit's gonna shift and move and do crazy shit. But yeah, that's what we got.
I'm happy with this, and we're gonna start doing this every time now.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. We don't know if What If is gonna be on there, but
yeah, I don't know. That feels like a side thing. It's literally called What If, Well, that's the show. Subscribe.
Thanks for watching, everybody. That's Lonercast. Follow our other shit. That's it.
Hey,
do all the things. Click the bell, like the page.
Also, I've got some huge news. My tongue is blue.
Oh my god. Your tongue's blue. Your door's green. Hulking out over here.
I drank a Powerade,
Oh, okay. Cool. All right.